Okay, let's talk about one of the wildest, most audacious moves in the history of corporate finance. Seriously, this is the story of how one CEO decided to go all in, and I mean all in, on a digital asset, basically turning his quiet software company into a Trojan horse for Bitcoin right in the middle of Wall Street. So, where does this story kick off? August 2020, with this just jaw-dropping statement. Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, gets on the horn and says, I've got $500 million and we're buying Bitcoin. And hey, if you think I'm nuts, don't worry, I'll buy your shares back with the other quarter billion. I mean, who does that? He didn't just dip his toes in, he did a full-on cannonball, staking his company's entire treasury. All right, so how on earth did we get to that point? This was a total 180-degree pivot. I mean, this is a guy who was publicly trashing Bitcoin just a few years before. From critic to, well, maybe the biggest evangelist on the planet. So what happened? What flipped the switch? Well, to understand it, you gotta go back to 2020. The world is in lockdown, and central banks are just firing up the money printers like there's no tomorrow. The US money supply shot up by a staggering 40% in a single year. Now, if you're a CEO like Saylor, you look at your $500 million in cash, and you don't see a safety net anymore. You see a melting ice cube. Every single day, that cash is losing its purchasing power. He knew he had to do something. And you know, this wasn't some rookie CEO making a rash decision. Saylor's been in the game for a long time. He founded MicroStrategy way back in '89. He's a true tech visionary. Back in 2012, he literally wrote the book on the mobile revolution, the mobile wave. But here's the kicker. He always regretted not betting bigger on his own prediction. He promised himself, next time I see a shift this big, I'm not going to hesitate. I'm going all in. And for him, Bitcoin was that next time. So the big question is, how did he pull this off? It's one thing to use the cash you have on hand, but Saylor did something else. He basically built an accumulation machine, a financial engine designed to just relentlessly stack more and more Bitcoin, mostly, and get this, using other people's money. Let's break down how it works. Okay, tool number one in his kit, convertible debt. Now, don't let the fancy name fool you. It's basically a special kind of loan. The company borrows money, but instead of just paying it back with interest, the lender has the option to convert that loan into company stock down the road. Why is this so great? Well, it allowed MicroStrategy to borrow billions, and I mean billions, at super, super low interest rates. We're talking, in some cases, 0%. Investors were lining up because they wanted that potential stock upside. All right, tool number two, at-the-market offerings, or ATM for short. The best way to think about this is like a cash faucet. The company can just turn the tap whenever it wants to issue new shares directly into the market and raise cash. And Saylor wasn't shy about using it. He turned that faucet on full blast, raising billions of dollars in just a few months. And where did all that cash go? Yep, straight into buying more Bitcoin. Now, this is where it gets really clever. These two tools created what's called the accretive flywheel. It sounds complicated, but it's pure genius. Here's the magic trick. Wall Street got so excited about this strategy that MicroStrategy's stock started trading for way more than the Bitcoin it actually owned. So what does Saylor do? He sells that overpriced stock, takes the cash, and buys more Bitcoin at the regular market price. The result is kind of mind-bending. Even though he's creating new shares, which usually dilutes everyone, the amount of Bitcoin per share goes up. It's like financial alchemy. He was literally making every shareholder richer by selling stock. But look, this wasn't just some clever financial trickery. Underneath all of this is a really deep core philosophy. It's about what money even is. The whole idea, the core belief, is that money is just a technology. It's a technology for storing your life energy, your time, the value you create when you work. He thinks of it like a battery. You charge it up with your work so you can discharge it later. And in Saylor's mind, Bitcoin is simply a better battery. A perfect battery, really. And when you see it that way, you see two totally different systems. On one hand, you've got fiat currency, like the US dollar. Think of it as a leaky battery. Its supply is unlimited, it's controlled by a handful of people, and it's designed to lose value over time through inflation. Then you've got Bitcoin. This is the perfect battery. It has a fixed supply, only 21 million, ever. It's not run by a committee, it's run by math and code. It's built from the ground up to hold its value. He's got another great analogy for this. He calls Bitcoin digital Manhattan. He says buying Bitcoin today is like getting the chance to buy up city blocks of Manhattan when it was all just farms and forests. It's a chance to own a piece of prime, scarce digital real estate before the rest of the world realizes what it is and the skyscrapers go up. Okay, but let's be real. A gamble this huge, this audacious, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It comes with massive, massive risk, and we need to be crystal clear about the dangers here before we get to the payoff. Let's not mince words. This whole strategy is a high-wire act without a net. You're using debt, borrowed money, to buy one of the most volatile assets on the planet. If the price of Bitcoin crashes hard, you could face margin calls, which means you'd be forced to sell your Bitcoin at the absolute worst moment. And remember all that debt, those billions of dollars? They have to be paid back, no matter what Bitcoin is doing. That's a ton of pressure. So, with all that risk, what was the reward? Well, the payoff has been nothing short of staggering. I mean, just look at this. Since August 2020, MicroStrategy stock hasn't just beaten the market, it has absolutely annihilated it. It's even outperformed Bitcoin itself, and it left a rocket ship stock like NVIDIA completely in the dust. That financial flywheel we talked about? Oh yeah, it worked. Let's just let that number sink in for a moment. 3,551%. That is just an insane number. This is what happens when you use leverage to buy an asset that goes up, amplifying the returns for everyone who owns the stock. It is, without a doubt, one of the single greatest trades in the history of corporate America. So what's the big picture here? What does this all mean? Did Michael Saylor just write a brand new playbook for every company treasure out there? Or is he just a maverick, a one-off outlier whose success can never be repeated? What this really is a direct challenge to the old way of doing things. For decades, the corporate treasury playbook was all about capital preservation. You know, you hold cash, you hold bonds, and you basically try not to lose money, while inflation slowly eats away at your savings. The Saylor playbook, it's all about capital appreciation. It says, no, your treasury should be an engine for growth. You should hold a hard asset that's designed to get stronger over time. And you know what? People are listening. He's not the lone wolf anymore. What started with one company making a crazy bet is now turning into a real trend. We're now seeing over 150 publicly traded companies starting to copy this playbook, at least in part, converting some of their own cash into Bitcoin. And that really is the billion-dollar question we're left with. Has Michael Saylor actually hacked Wall Street? Has he created a durable new path for companies to not just protect, but actually grow their wealth in the 21st century? Or is this whole thing a massive leveraged gamble that could still blow up spectacularly the next time Bitcoin's infamous volatility rears its head? The playbook is out there for everyone to see, but the final chapter, that's still being written.